Hi all, Vlad Kozlov, Director of Support Global Readiness. Coming to today from the backyard of my mom. I'm still on PTO, but I will be excited to take questions tomorrow at the Engineering Offsite. So today I'm just going to give an overview of what readiness is, and what our interfaces are and how you can help. So let's go ahead and get started. Readiness, we have kind of four things that we're responsible for. We want to make sure that the support team is continuously improving. We want to make sure that the team has ready access to information that's going to affect the customer experience, whether that's something that infra is doing, whether it's a new product feature, whether it's new anything that the support team needs to be aware of. We want to make sure that it's well understood. We want to make operational efficiencies by mechanizing or automating engineer workflows wherever we can. And then we want to make sure that we're doing what we say we're doing by evaluating and measuring our customer service quality. And so in that vein, there is sort of three areas within readiness. There's training, service delivery, and support operations. There's a draft MR that I'm not going to present directly, but it goes into a lot more detail of what each of those are on the job families page. I will go into them, however, here a little bit more briefly. So training, that kind of is that first point. It's responsible for creating an environment of continuous improvement. So the interfaces that our training team will have is going to be product. We're going to be looking, what features are coming up, what's on the roadmap, what bugs are outstanding, what are best practices. Be working with the quality team to understand, what areas are really ready for support, what areas may not be fully supported yet. We're going to be working with learning and development to make sure that any content that's created for the wider community is also relevant for support, and any content that we create is also, good for the wider community, including maybe even in our certifications. Likewise with channel, we'll be interfacing with our partners because our channel partners are also a great source of ticket deflection. They may be providing local language support, and we want to make sure that wherever we can, we're empowering our channel partners. So anything we create should really be good for support and good for the wider community. Service delivery is responsible for ensuring that support quality remains high. And so the interfaces there are support management, customer success, infrastructure, development, quality. Service delivery will touch a lot of places as we seek to understand sort of where are there irregularities in how we deliver support and the customer experience within GitLab, and how we can understanding and informing support managers about how we can improve in those areas. And so, yeah, that will be a really fun and interesting one. The final one is actually a team that already exists. We have Jason is the manager in charge of support operations, and we have Nabil, Alyssa, and Dan, and we just hired a new person based out of Australia. And support operations is responsible for supporting the day-to-day operations and software systems used by GitLab's customer support team. A very dry definition for something that is actually like quite a lot of work. The more complex our workflows get, the more areas we add to the product, the more data we want to pull out of Zendesk. The more complex this becomes. In fact, I need to link to the support operations page, although if you follow the readiness page, it's on there. The support operations handbook is probably bigger than the support handbook. And we're doing some really interesting, innovative things just in terms of the way that Zendesk is managed. We're managing it all through, sorry, I could really talk about support ops for a long time. But yeah, we're using GitLab to manage the state of Zendesk for many of the pieces of Zendesk. And I've gotten cold contacts actually from outside folks that want to do what we're doing. And so Jason's working on open sourcing a lot of that right now. And then, yeah, the interfaces for operations support management is obviously going to have a big interface there where maybe driving some of the priorities or changes that we need to make in order to efficiently run the team. Operations actually has to go through and handle. But another big interface, like outside of engineering, is business operations. Salesforce is a beast, and anything that happens in Salesforce will also affect Zendesk because those two need to communicate so we know who our customers are and what their state is. Legal is another big interface. Support operations maintains our statement of support. And so any changes that go through our statement of support also need to go through legal because that's linked directly in our customer contracts. Customers will interact with support operations quite a lot as they manage their contacts or if they have any problems with the support portal. And then development. So as we look to mechanize operations, or especially working with customers, there's definitely some opportunities to work with development to build apps within Zendesk to perform common operations that aren't necessarily available in the product. So this is kind of a complicated slide that describes how the different pieces of support readiness interact. So they really kind of build on each other. So service delivery, they may identify training needs from ticket performance data. Training is going to go and use that data to build better training. Or service delivery may say like, okay, there's these trends that aren't visible. Like, can we get support managers to do ticket review and start to surface some of these trends? And so that training will need to exist, and then we can then provide that data to service delivery, who can then provide that feedback loop back to training. Likewise, on the other side, service delivery to support ops. Some of this stuff is right now me talking to myself. So if you click into any of these issues, we don't have anybody in training or service delivery. And so, yeah, some of these circles is just in my own brain. But real work is happening. So like identifying in my service delivery hat, identifying opportunities for automating and mechanizing things. Like take a look at that example issue, or even like getting support ops to create a new form, like for example, for GitLab dedicated, so we can more quickly surface those tickets and understand the trends there, like already has happened. And then training and support ops also like are going to be working a lot together, where we can make better training with better tools, or we can build operational capacity if we have enough training time. So like if you take a look at support team meta 4376, right now working on actually, sorry, I forgot what that issue is. Let's see. Oh, that's a mistake in the slides. So that one is, I need to fix that. So don't click on that link. Well, click on that link because I'm going to fix it. Then finally, how can you help? There's kind of 4 areas that I see a need for help from like wider engineering. One, I do actually really want to hear about your experience with support from other companies, especially things that worked well. I spent Elliot on the CI team, and I have spent a fair bit of time talking about some things that happened at his past companies. And I'm sure there's other experiences out there. And so please, let's have a coffee chat and talk about that. I'm really curious in kind of the shorter term also about how support can influence the prioritization of individual customer issues and any trends that we spot outside of escalations and incidents. I know Wayne has the prioritization working group going on, although I think maybe that's may have closed since I went on PTO. Also curious how we can work better within customer emergencies or time-sensitive situations to resolve customer issues more quickly. I know that, yeah, like incidents are disruptive for everyone. And whether they're small scale single customer incidents or large GitLab.com incidents, support sometimes doesn't have the expertise in-house in a particular product area, and we need help from engineering. So just figuring out like a better structure for that. And then finally, expanding engagement with support stable counterparts. Traditionally, support stable counterparts interact a lot with product managers and not as much with the EMs, depending on the group. Every relationship is different. But I'd like to really figure out some ways where we can get some additional training for the wider support team on troubleshooting and best practice, and even just an understanding of sort of the underlying code. That would be just really fantastic. I think that is the end. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and say, looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.